To the east are the Mirror Isles. We have already solved the opening area in the first episode of this series. I'm Noël, a game designer and programmer. Welcome to my study, where we are exploring the Order of the Sinking Star, studying its puzzles, systems and design decisions along the way. Let's continue our journey. It's so beautiful. Oh, and look, there's like these red floor tiles here. Wonder what that's about. Okay, this is a little bit laggy sometimes. I think we have solved these first two levels, am I right? Yes, this one was the one with the duplication, exit overworld. There is an option in the menu to exit to overworld. This one was also about duplicating ourselves. Oh, I see. So duplication or cloning is the mechanic that they teach us in the second part. I see. So I think they would like us to go north because the south is blocked off. Oh shoot, this is gonna be tricky. And we can see these white lines, they show us. I was wondering how that's done, but if we approach an object that needs destroying like this one, and we push it, we get to see which level we need to solve in order to unlock it. That makes a lot of sense now, I was wondering about that. And then if we push it again, it disappears. Ah, it's good, it's such a nice detail. It's beautiful to see how he solved that. Okay, we will be going... Wait, what? There's a door up here, but we need this rock. Is there a rock here? Well, either way, we're gonna have to go down here. This one unlocks with this. That one unlocks with that as well. And this one with that one. Okay. That's cool. I get it now. I didn't quite understand that.
Stand whole, straight, like a mirror's beam, bright, like the spear of the sun.
Also, I had an idea or a thought about the star logo of the game. It's called the Order of the Sinking Star, and the star looks very alike. If you played The Witness, there are these pillows with these half stars on them, as well as the flowers in the pond in The Witness. And although I've never actually seen someone mentioning that, maybe people did, I just don't know of it. To me, it looks like a lotus flower, and a lotus is about rebirth, awakening, or more accurately, spiritual awakening and purity. And I think I've mentioned that in the first episode. But it made me think about the Order of the Sinking Star. So what if the star is actually a lotus, and the sinking star is a sinking lotus, so a drowning one? And since the lotus represents awakening or spiritual awakening, maybe the sinking star is the spiritual non-awakening. So kind of the death of spirituality or the death of rebirth. And if what does it mean, the death of rebirth? Maybe the death of rebirth is just the ultimate death where everything is just dead and nothing exists anymore. It's just my current interpretation. Now that's interesting actually. This level looks exactly the same as one we've already solved. But I'm sure it's different. Now the question is, how is it different? Well, the major issue is... No, actually, no, I can still go here. Oops. Wait. Oh! I can project the rock? Look at that, I can project the rock using X. So X just, no matter where I stand, I thought X reflects me, but X seems to just reflect the game state. So if we had multiple mirrors that would reflect multiple things, projecting X just reflects everything all at once in one step of the game loop. So now the question is... I made a mistake again. I need to go back to the start. I see it. I've pushed the mirror up too high again. We need to put it here, potentially. So that we can now... The rock was, of course, exactly positioned so that we would do it wrong. But now we can get... I'm not sure yet, but... we can get the rock in that position. That is not too helpful. But we can get the mirror one closer to the right. Maybe here? Ah, I screwed up with the rock already. Oops. What if we put the rock here and the mirror here? Or here, or here. That's actually better. Now the question is, does that help me? Oops, at all? Not really, because I need 2 rocks to cross. And I only have 1 mirror, so I can't make another rock. Ah. No, I see it, I see it. I think I need to use the rock to make a bridge, but maybe not here. Maybe one higher. And then I can get the mirror, oops, across. Not good. Not good. Maybe to here, and that allows me to project myself over. Nice. So we've learned...
I feel heavy again. A bit cold.
Yet you retain some of the lightness.
It is winter now. Interesting. So what I've also noticed during editing the first 2 episodes is that we cycle through daytimes and now apparently also seasons. As if we're like trapped in time, or we're just kind of flying through time, and the characters don't seem to be that aware of it. Interestingly. Now the thing is, we can't do anything on this first island. But we probably want to get the rock north of where I'm standing now. That means we need to project the rock down. How do we do that? By using the mirror to get it off the edge, like this. And then, by using the mirror... oops, not what I wanted to do. Maybe we'll put the mirror here, and then we can push the rock there, and then myself as well. Nice. Easy.
These things I saw and felt could have been mine as a boy.
But you'd be a different you. I want you where you are.
We have to try to figure out who is speaking at any given time. Orange, or the man that's speaking right now, seems to be our orange person. But the woman... Who's the woman? And I feel like I know her, or her voice, from the witness audio logs. Is it maybe the same voice actress? Could be. I'm gonna also make myself a little bit smaller. You guys gave me feedback that I might be a little bit too big. And that I'm covering important areas of the game. Now, I will always be covering a little bit, but now at least I'm only covering 4 squares to the top. And if I move myself left a little bit more, maybe only 3 squares to the left. Let me know what you think about the positioning. I'm recording a couple episodes ahead a little bit, so give me some time to adjust it, but at least when the game comes out in full, at least we'll have a good camera position. Alright, so we have a Matterhorn here, which is a mountain in Switzerland where I'm from. No, it's just a rock, I guess. Okay, it's gonna have a meaning why this guy is here. I don't know, probably so that we can't project ourselves. Yeah, otherwise we would be able to project ourselves from here all the way over, potentially. Let's try the naive way first. That's usually an idea to try. Oh, I see. This rock forces us to put the mirror on the edge. I ideally would cross over here. We might be able to do that with the rock. But we have to mirror the rock. How would we do that? I thought I can mirror it into here, but now obviously the rock is also stuck against the upper edge. Now, it's interesting how I can step on this square, but down here the square is missing. That's going to be relevant. I think that means that this square where I'm standing right now has the utmost importance. Otherwise it would be missing as well. Oops. Now what? Look. We can push that closer, and that gets us the rock here. Okay, nice. So we had to mirror the rock up and then back to the middle after pushing the mirror. Okay, we're getting a rock, which we could potentially use and mirror it up here. But that causes a problem because I can't go back anymore now. And the mirror is immobile. But that rock would be useful to cross over that bridge north. Or at least we could touch it, showing us what we need to solve in order to open it. Oh, I can do it like this. Oh, no, I cannot. Interesting, so it won't now allow me to project myself because the rock is in the way. Oh, but I have to do it exactly... Oh, see, okay. That's how we get to that level at the bottom. By going back and projecting... shoot. Okay, we can only teleport us into the water there. Now, if I could manage to get that gem rock, let's call it a... What do we call this? A crystal, I guess. Into the position that I'm drowning right now, we wouldn't drown. And we could step into the level. And we can do that. See, now we can go back. Now we can perfectly align that rock to here, cast it over, and make it to that level. Nice. I like it. Beautiful design. I love it.
Will I meet the Mirites now?
In time, perhaps. It's not needed today. We, they, and I prepared everything you need.
So she seems to be... So we have this one guy that we can talk, or that can explain himself through the audio logs. He seems to be a physical character in this world who has traveled these parts already, kind of telling us something about his discoveries. But this woman almost seems to be some meta being. She talks about me, I, and they, or whatever. She almost talks like she's one of the architects or something. And this is about... the orange guy wants to meet the Mirats, or whatever they're called. And she's saying it will be in time. Now, this square here immediately jumps my eye, but not for the mirror. Because the mirror is not very useful here. But maybe we get to... Oh, I think we get to reflect... Yeah, look, I think we get to reflect the rock by putting the mirror here. But we first need to move the crystal all the way to the right here somewhere. And then we can mirror the rock to the right here and step over. Oops. This is too suspicious, that little peninsula part there at the top. Exactly like that. Okay, sometimes you can solve these without even trying.
Are all about avoiding contamination. I love them for that.
Had I gone this far, I'd have been better than I am.
Perhaps. Perhaps in more ways than you'd have been worse. But you'd not have developed many of your current virtues, which I enjoy.
So he's wondering if he would have been better off if he'd had gone another way, and she's saying, well, he would have probably been, could have also been way worse off. And I think the Emrites, she said something about they want to make sure we are worthy, or they want to root out the unworthy or something. And I think that in some way refers to some of the players who might be giving up early and are not ready for the harder challenges. It's kind of a meta dialogue. So these early apostles are rooting out the players who might not be able, or who might not have the patience or the endurance or maybe even the skill to push past these demo levels. At least that's kind of what I'm getting from the dialogue. Let me hear your thoughts. I find this fascinating. Absolutely. Okay, so this northern island is going to be very important. We're gonna have 2 gems. We only have 1 mirror, so we can't replicate any of them. So where would we put down 2 gems in order to cross? The thing is, I don't see a single spot where if we would put 2 gems, like one of the more obvious or naive choices would be like drowning them here to the left or here down, but even putting 2 anywhere in the water is not going to be enough to get us across either to the bottom nor to the top in any configuration that we lay them out. So we have to mirror ourselves to the bottom islands. And then the question is, what are the crystals for? The crystals will be here to build a bridge for the mirror to stand on. And it will not be to the left, because we can't mirror ourselves to the left because the mirror is rotated the wrong way. So the mirror will have to go down, probably down here, 2 slots down. And then we can mirror ourselves from here to the final island. But we first need the second gem. How do we get the second gem? That is a good question you ask. I can't waste. What happens if I do this? I know, what was I saying? Of course I can't put the mirror down here because it will also be rotated wrong. I think now that I'm looking at this again, I think the mirror needs to go to the top island, to the right part of it, and we need to stand on the left part, and then we can mirror us across to the bottom. That means I'm going to use that gem potentially where the mirror... where would I use it? Oops. Maybe here? Or no, one to the right. One to the right. And now we use the second crystal to get the mirror... Can I even get the mirror across? No, I don't see how I would get the mirror across. That's the thing. But I can get it north 1 more. Yeah, I see it now. But for that, I need to get the crystal in first. No, I need to get myself first. And then we can do the crystal. Oops. But we have to get the crystal in range. Shoot. So I can get myself over. And now I could get the crystal over. And then I can get myself here, but that's not good enough to get on the final island. I think we need to get the mirror north 1 more. But how do I do that? I need to get the crystal... No, that's still not close enough even. Maybe I see it now. I think I'm gonna try putting that down 1 further to the left. Because now, if we do the same funny business... Oops. But 1 further to the left, we can get the crystal down there, and now we can make it to that island.
That will avail you henceforth.
Virtues like skill and money? How does that benefit here?
You weigh bonds that shift as you hold them. Tend constellations of fickle allegiance. Of what use could all that be? I wonder.
Yeah, it's not about money. It's about knowledge. It's about... Or I think it is about acquiring enough knowledge so that we are virtueful or enough knowledgeable to make it past and eventually through to these Embrites, whoever they are. Now we have a similar level, but the complexity has increased because now we have 3 crystals and there's a very suspicious bridge with 2 missing parts here to my right, which will require 2 gems potentially. Now we could build a bridge of 3 gems through the right part down between the 2 right islands to walk over, so we don't necessarily need to project ourselves to the exit. That doesn't mean that that's gonna work. But for example, if we could get the mirror here, then we have a chance now to go over here and we can build a bridge I think I might see it. I might see it now. And because this spot right here just jumped my eye, why is there a square down here into the nowhere? These little, like none of these details are, basically none of these little details are accidental, although maybe this right part here, this right little sticky thing that sticks out, might not necessarily be there for a reason, but I think we might... see, I thought we could now project ourselves to the right with enough leeway from here, but we can't move the mirror out of the way. But since I've mentioned it, this specific edge here, as well as this edge at the top right here, is very suspicious. Because I could project myself potentially from here. Nah, I can't put the mirror because it's not rotated in that way. Doesn't matter where I put... But I could try to put the mirror here. Then we need to go 1, 2, 3, 4 down. Potentially from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would get us across if the mirror... If I'm standing here and the mirror stands here. The question is, how do we get the mirror across? We can only get it across... Oh. Now I see it, I see it. But I screwed up a moment ago by pushing that rock down here. We need to make a little bit of a runway here so we can start pushing the mirror. And then we can project ourselves to the exit. Nice. But as it turned out... Oh, this crushes all of it. And this crystal at the top left over there, all the way. I would like to have a cursor. Maybe I'm going to write John to add a cursor. Let's go back in here quickly. A quick reminder that starting in the next episode, I'll be able to share my thoughts more effectively using a tool recommended to me by the developers. It is truly a game changer for you following along.
Virtues like skill and money? How does that benefit here?
You weigh bonds that shift as you hold them. Tend constellations of fickle allegiance. Of what use could all that be? I wonder.
Now the thing is, I've mentioned before that this square that I'm standing on is not there just by accident, but it turns out that it just is there by accident. And now I'm not sure if that's such a good design choice. I mean, the problem is if you only have squares that are relevant to solve the puzzle, sometimes the solution becomes too obvious. So the designer is often inclined to add a little bit extra to the level to make it look more complicated, which this square is doing, in my opinion. Now the question is that a good choice or not? And obviously also this island here at the bottom, like especially this square, is not necessary. But it adds a little bit of ways to think about how to solve this level, right? I thought about, can I somehow project myself to here from the top? I wouldn't have thought about that if it wouldn't have been there. So in a way, it gives us these interesting ideas to think about, but it also distracts us from the actual solution. So I'm torn on whether that's good or not. It's a struggle that I face as well when I design levels. Now, we do want to get that gem up to the north in order to bridge into the north. I don't yet want to go into that red area. We'll go there later. But for that, we do need to reset it. But maybe not to here, actually. We might get a shortcut here, because the thing is we can only go up here using that gem. And if that gem is here, that means the gem can't be here in that water spot. So we will never be able to cross both bridges without having to rebuild them. And I don't think John would want us to rebuild these bridges all the time, so I think we're gonna have to get a teleport to that meta level above that links all the areas together at some point. Territory beyond this point unlocks in the demo phase 2. Nice. On the 19th. That is in 2 days.
Prithee, reserve this game among thy future acquisitions.
It's amazing. That's such a good idea to add these on-theme dialogues just for the demo. It's such a good idea. Okay, now we have the... I need to push it up first. Up. I want to push it up. Okay. We have a problem. We can't just do this because we failed to be able to push it, but we can project it down by doing our trick yet once again. But we have to... not that far. Yeah, we have to put it exactly in that spot that was locked off before. And now we can get across. Oops. Dude, it's big. Big freaking area. What does it say here? This symbol again. We've seen this so many times. There was one in the beginning of the game. It had the number 069115 on it. I don't know what that number means, but I'm part of the Jai programming language compiler beta, and that number appears in many of the source files as well. I do not know what it means though. At least that's what we've been discussing in the beta group. Oh, this just gets me over here, but I will need 2 crystals. The thing is I can't move that mirror there. Oh, there is... I see there is a block to... There's 5 steps to the left. There is a rock. So I have 2 blocks in this level, or in this screen, that I could use to build a bridge. I would really like a cursor, because this is not very useful. I can't point to where I want to point. Obviously, to the left of me, there is a gap of 2 that I'd like to fill. Then there's the rock, and there's a 1 gap. And then before the rock, if you go down, if you place 2 rocks there, you can also build a bridge there to those 3 levels to the left. By the way, I realized maybe people don't know what Jai is, so I just talked about the Jai programming language. That's the language this game is written in. It is a language specifically created to build games by Jonathan Blow, and it's not public yet, so it's only available for a select group of people. That's the teleport back, and here we have the red square. These are interesting. So, because we know this is like ice here, and this is the red area that we've just been to. And eventually this whole thing here will become a bigger level, probably with puzzles included as well. In fact, there's an audio log to the left. I'm not sure if we listen to that. Might have to go there in a second. Okay, but let's go back first. So, anyways, yeah, the Jai programming language was created just for this game, basically, and this game was meant to be a demo for this programming language. because many programming languages are just created by someone and then there's no real applicability for them, and then people just start writing software for it. But John wanted to do something different. He created that language and then he wanted to prove that it is ready for production by creating a massive game. Or actually, in the beginning, it wasn't supposed to be that massive, it just happened to be that way. So this game is in fact just kind of a demo to showcase the programming language as well, for those nerdy people out there. But obviously for people who are not programmers, they probably don't know about the programming language. They just play the game and don't know anything about that. If you're interested on that topic, by the way, there is a great playlist by Jonathan Blow. The first video it's about 10 years ago, which is when development of this game began, because that's when development of the programming languages started as well. There's a long playlist where he goes through design decisions. Now, obviously, the earlier ones are not that applicable anymore. The language has evolved a lot and still is. But if you're interested in this type of technical knowledge, then definitely check it out. It's an amazing language. It's so fun to use. If you're making games with Unity or Unreal, I highly recommend checking out the language. It's truly life-changing. It's so different to program. It's so much more fun. Now let's check this level out.
Do you feel anxious about this one?
I'm not so sure. At what should I be looking?
2 mirrors. As you know, that's often a threat.
A threat to split me, yes.
No.
I don't mind it. Not so much. Not anymore. But I also feel it's not quite right today.
Perceptive.
Is it not quite right because we might not quite be ready and it's okay to abandon this level because it's tricky? Because John also designs his games in a way that you can always abandon them and continue a different path. Now, I have a feeling that we need to get the right mirror to the left and the left mirror to the right, because right now we can't replicate ourselves the way they are positioned. So, if we get this one closer, I might be able... not quite. Okay, I need to get myself over to the other side. Then I want to get this mirror closer into range. Come back. That's a problem. That's a problem. Before I do anything, I want to try to flip the mirrors. But why do I even need to replicate myself? Let's continue that thought for a moment. Maybe I don't need to replicate myself. Maybe that was a red herring. Maybe I need to replicate the rock. Why do we have a rock? To build a bridge. Or can I replicate myself, then die, and then step on my dead body? There are so many options. What? No, I can't try it out until I flip the mirrors around. That's a problem. Okay, let me see if I can... Is there any way for me to get over without putting that mirror at the top slot? Because I'd like to be able to move it again. That's not enough. And if we do this, then that's not enough either. But maybe we could use that rock to block. Wait. What if we put it here? And then we get the mirror. We put it down here. Oh, the mirror can't mirror a mirror. That's a bit unfortunate. I mean, yeah, why can't we mirror the mirror down? Okay, I thought that would work. I guess not. Okay, so the mirrors are fixed unless we can build a path. Yeah, I understand with maybe today is not the day, because that seems to be a bit of a mind bender. The thing is, we have two... I thought maybe the mirrors can stay on their island, but we could get them somehow close enough so we could do something, but there is 2-column gap between these 2 islands and I only have 1 rock, so how would that work? What if... We put the rock here where it can be mirrored from the left mirror, and we put this mirror on top so that it mirrors. See, now we have a duplication as well. Ah. Now. No. I need to be careful. Wait, I need to first move this rock to where I want it. I'm gonna get this rock back. Where are we gonna go? Where's the shortest path? Maybe... So we can only build a straight bridge. We won't be able to make a turn halfway through. So there's only really two paths we could build a bridge. Down here. And we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rocks. Or over here, and we need 1, 2, 3, 4 rocks. So the faster way would be to do it down here. Yeah, and it's also easier because that allows me to always just copy. Oops. That one, move it. Then we'll reposition that gem. Or crystal or whatever. That's a problem. There has to be a better way of how we can maneuver this. Okay. I probably just moved that rock instead of the other one. Then we basically have a factory at this point. So we have a factory of crystals now. Nice. Good level, really cool. Oops. And that's it. I guess today is the day. Sorry, I have a little fly here somewhere. It wants to check out the game as well. Alright, so we have gotten... It would be cool if it, when you step on the level, that it would show you what it unlocked. Like having pointers now, so that I know what unlocked. But I think it was the 2 rocks to my left. Oh shoot, there's so much. This is demo locked. And this is another, yet another path to... This is the golden area down here. They all have slightly different visuals, so you can really differentiate from them in this meta level. This is like the overworld. You can see here where I'm just crossing over, there is the 4 areas split by this colorful aura. Let's listen to that audio log while we traverse the world quickly. Have I listened to that?
Quigley, this way of getting around is... cute. I don't mind it. Of course, I have always been a fan of the binary partitioning we use for national transport, confusing as it may be to newcomers. But the weakness of our scheme is that it enables travel only along linear routes. With the method on display here, travel is two-dimensional and free. So, how do these transportation platforms work? Could they exist in our world too? Or is there something about the fabric of this place absent in ours? Speaking of which...
Speaking of which, what does that relate to? The mirrors? Because we can replicate ourselves? Which is not something that's possible? Oh, we have a Dark Souls backwards gate now. Shortcut to the opening area. Now I know that John is, I think, not a big fan of Dark Souls, probably. Because they just bump up the health numbers of the enemies. Which is a bit of a... design thing. Okay, so we did everything here. We can replicate ourselves down here. Now, what happens if we enter 2 levels at once? Wait, we can try to enter... Can we try to enter... I would like to try to enter both levels at once, just for testing. Wait. We can't do that because we're always in the same spot. I tried to displace one of my characters, but since the islands are exactly the same, that's not possible here. But I can imagine that there once will be an overworld area where we are stepping on 2 levels at the same time, which is a rule that then maybe... I mean, I don't know if it's a rule, but it could be a rule that you then can't enter the level because the game doesn't know which one. So you have to find a way to displace yourself first before entering the level. And then maybe there's going to be levels that are going to be hard.
So hard to see. Everything's so blurry now.
Maybe there's going to be levels that are hard to enter because just of that mechanic you can't displace yourself properly. Okay, so we have 2 mirrors. That's immediately an indication for replication. I wonder what the community will call this mechanic. If it's like copying, cloning. I like reflecting or although reflecting might not necessarily be the right term because we can also duplicate ourselves. But I guess like this... Oh shoot, look, this is getting so freaking weird already. Yeah, you can like duplicate yourself in weird ways. For example, if we do this, we have like a... Oof. Okay, what do we want to do? We have 2 exits, so we need 2 guys. But no more. If we have 3, it won't work. We have a rock. And if you go from the rock, 1 to the left and then upwards, there it looks like that could be a place for the rock to put a little bridge. As well as here, if we manage to clone the rock. Now, we might be able to clone the rock. Let me restart. By... I can't get here. I need to be careful not to screw my mirrors up. Now, why does that not clone the rock? Oh, are rocks not clonable? Only gems are? Or crystals? Because crystals are like magic something, and rocks are just... rocks? Or why can't I do this to the rock? Okay, that means rocks are not a thing. Now, here I want to try what happens if I walk over my dead body. How did I do it? Like this. I can't walk in here, but I might be able... to use... shoot. I'm gonna do that. Okay, we can do this. Oh, and our second self just drops on top of the first one. So we can't step on our dead body. Okay, that's good to know at least. Alright. So, an easy...
I can see fine. No idea what your issue could be. So sure of yourself.
We're talking to ourselves. We're talking to ourselves. Okay, so I see the problem. We won't be able to get that rock up here because of how this layout works. I don't even have to try that. I can see that. Now, we probably need a clone down here so that the first guy can put the rock here, oops, here, and then the second one can push it up. Then we can exit. So in fact, what I want to do is I want to create a replica. Then we'll move myself over, down, and then the second self as well. Then this one can push it up and we can go. Now we need to do the align thing again, like this. And then we need to align down and up. Okay. Nice. Now the other one, which will also be similar, probably. Might be
We need to focus. I'm not sure I can do this. We will get through. I'm not sure I want to get through.
Yeah, and the reason why he doesn't want to get through is because one of them has to die. Because we only have one exit, and we already learned that we can't have too many clones. So one of them has to be sacrificed. And we do that by getting this one in here. Oops. Oh. But the exit turns off if one of them dies. Why? But we don't need to clone the exit. It doesn't appear to be the case. Or does it need to be on to be cloned? Oh, no, I understand, I think. I might... Yeah. I might need to merge myself into one person again. Maybe there is a way to replicate myself in a circle so that both of them... Yeah, there is a way. There is a way. Let's restart. Okay, first we get both of them here. Then we need to do this trick where we get that mirror in this configuration. I think that might be a good... Wait, this is actually not what I wanted. Like this. I know, this is just gonna merge me over there. Maybe the mirror needs to be closer? Wait. There's a way to do this, I'm sure. Actually, I'm not sure, but I'm hoping. Okay, how would we do this? So if he gets projected there, now we need to make sure that the second one also gets projected there. So my second one needs to stand. Oops. My second one needs to stand diagonal to the right. Like this. Now they get merged. See how the two shadows are inside of each other, so we get merged. It worked.
She made us do this. Shut your mouth.
So cool. Oh, and then when we go back, we get merged. So that's such a good choice. For those people who decide that the level is too tricky, they will exit the level, and they're going to try to attempt getting back. And when they go back, they realize that they can merge themselves. And that's maybe when a couple people, or most people, might understand what to do. Nice. Beautiful. So where do we continue? There is something here.
A new idea for you. It's possible the Mirrorites encouraged you to flee.
What are you saying?
They encouraged me to flee. Don't know how they would have done that or like what that relates to. But these dialogues are very purposefully written, right? Okay, we probably need to build a bridge. We only have one mirror though. So I think we don't build a full bridge. I think we build a partial bridge. And maybe by putting ourselves back and forth, we might be able to place just enough rocks or crystals to somehow make it across. I don't know how yet, but that would be my guess. So The mirror would need to be here in order for it to count to the left. Point to the left. Oh, but I already misplaced one of the gems there. Oops. We can also get closer like this. Ah, look at, there's quite a runway here to put gems pretty far. In fact, we can now go there as well. But we need a gem further to the right. No, we need one further, yeah, to the right, that's correct. So we can do this. And now we put a gem. Okay, I see it, I see the solution. We put another one there, and we project ourselves here.
I merely describe a possibility. Your fear was real, to be sure. It came from you, authentic.
Okay,
The makers
nice.
of mirrors may have angled the glass, produced a longer shadow than nature would cast.
Why? They wanted me to fail and become a traitor?
They may, in the fullness of time, come forth to recruit you.
Okay, so the makers of the mirrors, which are the architects, and it seems like we're chasing the Emrites, so maybe the Emrites are the architects and she's kind of part of them in some way? And they have bent the glass in a way to refract or reflect, to give us the option to progress through this journey so that they can observe us and potentially later recruit us. Maybe into the Order of the Sinking Star, although I would say the Order of the Sinking Star is not necessarily something good, because it's the sinking star, the sinking lotus, as I explained earlier, but maybe that theory is completely wrong. Maybe the Emrites are part of the Order of the Sinking Star, but I would say they are against it, based on my current knowledge, or based on my current interpretation. Okay, we're now the winter level. Actually, previous couple levels have all been winter, I guess. I like how that little plate here that I'm standing on right now is partially underwater. Very nice. Why is that underwater? Because something heavy was on it? Also notice that there is a lotus, or a, whatever you want to call it, I'd call it a lotus, here in the water. It looks like one, definitely. The sinking star. I mean, come on, it has to be the sinking lotus, because that literally is a sunk lotus. Okay, let's look at this puzzle. I haven't really thought about it yet. We want to naively get a crystal into that spot next to me. Now, these are crystals. We can reflect them around, not like the rocks. But we can't push the mirror across that turn that I'm just standing on, so the mirror will stay there unless he gets an extra thing to step on here. Now we could put the mirror... I have an idea, but I don't know if that works. Wait, so if we count... So what I'm thinking about, what if we project a crystal all the way to the mirror down to approximately here, where my finger is pointing right now, right here, and then we project the second rock on top of it, and then we have a little one square island here, and then we use the mirror to reflect the top crystal to the spot south of myself. That's what I'm going to try to do. The mirror is positioned properly already, I would say. Maybe. Let's see. I don't exactly know what the distance is. I have to measure the distance quickly. So I want the gem in the end to be here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think the gem... I would love to have a cursor that I can point to. I think it needs to be dropped into there. Like this? Ah, no. Because now I'm moving that down once, and that reduces the distance by 2. So I actually need 2 extra. But this is totally a solution. But I need 2 more distance. So here. Whoops. Then we move the mirror. Perfect. Nice. Great. I love it.
I'd let you pretend as one of them for a while. But ultimately, you are mine.
Okay, so we've already had that concept of the dialogue being the player, kind of, and controlling the character, but the character kind of thinking they have their own will. So maybe she is his player, and when she says you are mine, she means she's controlling his will. She's his will. But we can pretend in the part of the game in the game that he will join the Emirites. I don't know. Is not accessible in the demo.
Set this game upon thy list of wishes.
It's nice how all of these dialogues are also slightly different. I would be a little bit annoyed if they're all the same, because we hear them like for the, I don't know, 5th time now. But they're all different, and that makes them well worth listening to still. Now... we've been here everywhere now. Have we been to the north? Yes. But we haven't been to the right here. Can't go through here. No, I'm sure. No, I'm not sure, but I think we might be able to still do something here. Not down here. There's... Where do we have levels? Wait, didn't... this plate makes a noise when we step on it, the reset plate. This thing unlocks if we solve whatever that is. Maybe we need to do something in all areas, and then this unlocks. How would I get over there? And was there anything to the north? I've forgotten already. That's kind of the thing when you play these areas for the first time. Oops. Like, you need to first wrap your head around all these spaces, trying to remember what's in all of these places. There's literally nothing here. Okay. But the way he specifically lets us go into this space, just to not allow us to reflect. And I like how the water reflects the light. Beautiful. Such a beautiful game. To think that this was done in a programming language that he wrote himself, it's astonishing. It's unbelievable. The problem is I don't know how to... To me it feels like that rock is a backlink. I have to push it from the right so I can get back to here quicker. But that means... Oops. That means I would need to be able to access that area from the right. I'm just gonna revert, that's probably faster. Also, by the way, because you can reset the crystal here to this spot, right? But in the gameplay logic, this is not actually a reset. This doesn't actually respawn the gem. So the way this will be done is that you have the gameplay logic, Like, let's think of this as a series of events. So if I step to the right, you append an action to my list of actions that you can later undo. And when we reset this gem, we don't undo things. We add an action on top that is called reset or whatever. And time doesn't actually go back in any point of time. This is an additional action that we do. And then we can still reset. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you program this system, that's going to be very relevant. It's like in a financial system where if you make a wrong transfer of money, you can't undo that transfer. Like the way you undo it is by making a new transaction in the other direction of same value. It's kind of a somewhat similar thing. Oh, wait, like this, right? Yeah. Let's go to the right once more. I feel like I've missed something. Ah, see, there is a rock there. At the very top. We might need that one. And reflect it over here. How many steps is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 to the mirror. And from the mirror down, including the mirror, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 18, 19, 13. There's a white dot as well. If you follow the mirror all the way down, there is a white dot there. What the heck is that dot? That looks like either a developer note or... It almost looks like one of these arrow thingies here. But the block definitely needs to be where that red note is in order for it to be placed here to the left. And then maybe we can replicate it and do that a second time in order to cross over there. But that doesn't seem to be possible just yet. Therefore, it seems that we have finished this area. But now I first have to go back to all the other areas because I'm sure there's something else to do. Let's first look at the promise again. But we've been fairly thorough here, I think. Was that a snake? What was that? But interestingly, here on the right side of my character, we also have this gold path that we've seen just out of reach on the Mirror Isles. Now, is there anything else? The thing is, we've had these 3 red buttons here, and I have a feeling that we might need to put the red gems onto those buttons. But how many red ones do we have? Oh god, got scared. We only have 2 as of right now. The one up there, and this one. Oh, I keep forgetting about that. It's loud. These are scary, man. Holy cow. Now I need to figure out where we will continue. Ah, this is demo phase 2. So we can continue north in the next episode when the next batch releases. Now, when does this unlock? This doesn't have an arrow that shows us what we need to do to unlock it. What is that here, by the way? Oh, that's also one of these thingies. Oh. Now, I've already forgotten again. Let me check if that said about... Did that say it was not part of the demo, or did that say it will unlock with the next demo batch here? This does not... Okay, we can't go west anymore in the next batch, but north and east. And south we will not be able to go at all in the demo. That's completely locked off. I would love to get to that rock here. It must be about these rocks here, the skipping stones. And it must be about this current that we see going up. Maybe we can put like the rocks or the lilies into the current. What happens if we go into the current? Are we like floating away? There is also rocks all over the place in the water here. I don't know if those are relevant. Look how beautiful these corals are. Freaking beautiful. It's unbelievable the amount of details they've put into this. Now what I'm wondering is if we can get a red stone to here. I'm gonna try that. Can we move a red stone all the way across to here? I mean, theoretically that should be possible, no? We might not be able to get it across this edge here. If I put it here, I won't be able to push it. But I have 2 red stones. I can use both of them to do that, potentially. How do I reset this? Does that reset the whole... That resets the whole level. Nice. So... but I need to first get the red rock through the blue gate at the top, because now the blue gate is locked. Not again. This will happen so many times. This is done on purpose. I'm sure John runs into this all the time as well. And where is the reset button here? Here. Oh, it's hard to see, actually. Not gonna lie, it's hard to see. Wait, how does that work? Like this? Beautiful. I love this, man. This is exactly the shit I love, man. Although this is designed in a way that I can't get that rock out of this area. No. Specifically done in a way so you can't move it from one area to another. No. This little poopy pillar here fucks up the solution. Okay, I guess that's not it then. We also can't get... No, we can't get any rock out of here. I mean, that's a good insight to have already. And also here, there's also this golden path. Notice how all of these 3 directions had that golden path, but just out of reach from the second layer. So we had the first layer, which is basically this. That's the... Actually, that's... Well, it depends on how you count it exactly. I guess you could say that's the first layer of the northern area, the second one. And then that's the third layer. And then this is just out of reach. Okay, but I don't think we can do anything here right now. We don't have any rocks that in here that we could use. We have a gem. But I can't get anything through this narrow path here. See how this is like... Really not... But maybe... No, also not through this red one here. I don't think I can take anything out of the west unless I have additional capabilities. such as potentially a green... I mean, I guess we could even take a rock down here. If we could have a green... Yeah, and look, there's these red boxes. I mean, it's very suspicious. This has something to do about maneuvering something in this space. Why would these red boxes be here otherwise? So we need to get a beam from the west, probably. Or from somewhere else, I don't know. Now, we can't take the mirror with us. And I don't think we can take this rock with us that I'm standing on. No, rocks can't be reflected. So I am wondering how we get to those levels. But I also don't want to waste too much time right now. Maybe we'll try that in the next episode. But I think before we do that next time, we'll continue on through the north. Through the haughty heroes of Walling. Ah, of course. But let me quickly set this up first again, because I screwed up. Ah, it's a bit laggy here sometimes still. So it moves one too far. It doesn't understand that I've stopped pressing the button sometimes. No, I had to do this the other way around, right? Also interesting how the levels project a light and that refracts through the crystal. Very interesting. No, that was one too far. Nope. All right. And then we'll move through here next time. We have solved our way through the first half of the demo. The game's full release is still months away. Luckily, I already have some ideas to satisfy that craving for more Sinking Star until we wait for the full release. If that sounds interesting, I'd love to have you join me in my study. But first, we'll cross into the second phase of the demo. If you happen to be new around here, then this takes you to the beginning of the series. I'll see you there. Take care.